Today I have this fun card for you. It is a tunnel card, sometimes referred to as a diorama card. As you can see, it's got quite a bit of bulk here, but it's held secure with this belly band, and if you slip this off, you see that inside it has all this dimension. As you can see, this is the tunnel, and inside are floating our little astronauts and all the other space objects. Now, I've made a diorama card before, or a tunnel card, but this time I was inspired by Sam Colcott of Mixed Up Craft, and I'm going to leave a link in the description to her video on this card, and I hope you'll take the time to go over and have a look at that as well. It's really a quite clever card because she makes it into a pond scene. So you have all the fish floating in the pond, and you have a fisherman actually standing on the bank fishing into the pond. So it isn't as difficult as it might seem. It just takes a step-by-step process, and I hope you'll give it a try. So if you would like to learn how to make this, please stick with me and I'll show you how. The pieces for the card already cut out, and as you can see, I've already done the apertures for these because I don't have the circle dies or even the oval dies that I would need to cut that out. So I do this on my scan and cut beforehand, but you can do that. You can either use a die, or you could even hand cut it, and it can be any shape that you want. But I've made a circle, as you'll see later on why I've done that. So we'll start with the actual main part of the card, and this is cut at 11 inches by 6 inches. And on the 11-inch side, I'm going to score it at 6 inches, because this is going to make a 6 by 6 inch card, and at 10 1/2, so that gives us this 1/2 inch tab at the end. So that's the first one. The next is the top of the pop-up, or that is going to be 6 inches by 6 1/2 inches, and on the 6 1/2 inch side I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 5 inches. And as you can see, I've already sized my aperture to central to this portion here. But if you were doing this, you would, of course, and I'll just need to cut that out there. I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 5 inches. And as you can see, I've already put the aperture in here, and I've done it central to this portion, which is going to be left in the actual card. But I'll explain to you another way that you can do it when I get to that. Next are the two pieces. Now you could just use one if you wanted to, but I'm going to use two, and this is for where you're going to attach all your pieces inside of the tunnel. So I'm going to score each of these exactly the same, and these measure 6 by 5 1/2. And on the 5 1/2 inch side, I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch and at 5 inches. Okay, do the same with this one. Again, it's 6 by 5 1/2. Score it at 1/2 inch and at 5 inches on this shorter side. And that's our scoring all done. Go ahead and fold and burnish these few score lines that we have. We have this one for our main card, and this 1/2 inch tab. This is going to be the glue tab that's going to attach it to this piece. Going to do that is we're going to apply glue to this tab here. So I've got my Collal glue here, which is quite strong. I'm just going to place it all along that tab, and then with the largest tab, which is I think that's 1.5 inches, we're going to place this against this one, so you just can butt it right up against each other, and that's going to, see there, that's going to be attached there, so we're going to use the bone folder to spread that glue out, and we'll give it a moment to dry as well. So while that's drying, I can go ahead and place my image in the bottom. Now, this is what I'm going to be using, and it measures 4 3/8 by 6 inches, and it goes here, and it's going to be in here before we actually place the rest of the card together. So I'm going to put that central to the bottom, and as you can see, you'll see it through the aperture. Now, actually, before I put the rest of the pieces together, I'm going to decorate this part here, and I've already got my aperture cut out of this one. This is 4 1/4 by 5 3/4. So that's 5 3/4 by 4 1/4, and as you can see, it fits nicely over that opening. So I'm going to glue this down. Because this has a space theme, because I want it to look like the astronauts are floating in space. I've got, this is going to be the portal that looks out of the spaceship into space. And I've got for that these pieces here, and this I also used my scan and cut. I cut the circle. This is was 3.5 inches in diameter, so I made it a little larger and also put holes in it so it looked like little rivets, and then cut out another piece in black to make the actual little rivets. So that will be glued together and then placed over top. Now, as I was saying before about cutting your aperture in here, and another method to do it if you don't have, like myself, the scan and cut, so I could do it all, measure it out and do it all at one time. All I would have to do for this, rather than even putting this main card through a die cutting machine, simply cut your aperture from this piece that I've already put on here. So it could be whatever shape you want. It could be a diamond, it could be a star, it could be an oval, a circle, or just, an odd shape. And after you do that, then simply place it up against this piece. So this would be solid, and all you would do is just measure out the widest points, or you could even draw around it if you wanted to, and then just cut a little bit out from there so that the opening would still be visible. So you could just take your scissors and poke right through the middle and then just make a random cut around. So that's how you could do that if you don't have the scanning cut or Cricut or any other electronic cutting machine. To attach these two pieces where our embellishments are going to be floating on, because we're going to be using acetate to attach them to these, you take your glue and apply it to this tab here, and this is going to be placed where this original score line was here. This is where we actually placed it together, because if you fold it up, you'll see that when it's glued in place, it will actually match right up to there. So you have something that looks like that. So take the glue, and again I'm using the Kalau. You could use a quick grabbing craft glue, of course, that's not a problem. But this is what I've got out on the desk at the moment. So this is going to go that score line there. Second one, it will be fixed like this so that it's butted up against the other piece. Right. So I'm going to actually burnish that a bit more. We're going to take our glue, put it on this 1/2 inch tab, coming up to the edges a bit, and then this will be placed down like this, and then just butt it right up against the other piece, and burnish that really well. And then you can fold that flat, you can see. This is going to come over like that, and next we'll attach these to this section. And to do that, what we do is we're going to put our glue again here and here, and we can do it all at the same time, because we will bring this piece over and adhere it. So take the glue, and simply flatten them both out like so, and take this top piece and fold it over, and then use your bone folder to really get that stuck down. Give it a moment to dry as well. You can fold it over this way, do the same. There are your two pieces together. Now, to attach this, what you'll do is going to just crease that down a little bit more. Okay. Apply the glue here and then fold it back and fold this flat and set it down there, and it will attach there. Okay, and then it will be like that. This back, fold it flat, apply your pressure here, turn it over, do it from this side as well. And there is your tunnel. And it will still fold flat, as you can see, into a 6 by 6 inch card. So now on with the fun bit, the decorating. Now for the back here, I've got this piece which measures 5 3/4 by 4 1/4, which is the same size as this piece here. On the inside, I have these various pieces that I've already fussy cut, and I'm just going to set those aside. And I've got a couple of these that I'm just going to place in the bottom, and the rest I'm going to put on pieces of acetate so that I can suspend them. So I'm just going to have little Saturn down there somewhere, and then we've got this little, imagine that's like an asteroid or a little planet. Okay, and then for these pieces I have already attached the acetate onto the back of the piece, and this is just from some packaging, and I've got some red liner tape also at the ends here, which I'll peel off, and then I'm going to slide them inside, and I'll attach them to these pieces here, like so. Okay, so I've got those 2 levels, so I'm going to do those next. The astronaut is going to be looking down at his fellow astronauts in space. Then I have also other pieces that I can put down here. I'm going to glue these in place. Those are all in place. I'm going to take a piece of acetate, which I've cut to fit under here. As long as you've covered that aperture there, you'll be all right. And how I'm going to attach that is I'm going to take my red liner tape and I'm going to place it along all 4 sides and then stick it to the underneath of this piece here. So just to help me out a little bit, make it easier to see, because this does tend to disappear. I'm going to place it on this piece of colored cardstock, and then I'm going to take this slide it under. And when I've got it situated, then I'll just press down. I can actually flatten it. I'll make sure it's in place there. Back, I've got a couple of more pieces here. You are out of this world, and then we've got another little astronaut here. Little astronaut holding the star. You're out of this world, and now we can decorate the front of the card. So it's going to open like this, and it will be closed with a belly band, which I'll get to in just a little bit. Let's get this on first. I've got a piece that is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, which will give us this little white border here. Attach the sentiment here. Love you to the moon and back. I'm going to have a strip of this paper, which is the same as is in the bottom there, the little stars, and I'm going to put that there, and this measures 1 1/4 by 5 3/4, so we'll have that nice little white border all around. I stamped this little sentiment here, lucky to have a friend like you, on the matching cardstock that I used inside, and I'm going to put that on the front there. And because this has a white core and I don't want that white to show, I'm just going to take some of this vintage photo ink and just ink around the sides, and that will keep that from showing. And card is going to be closed with this belly band, and this is a piece of A4 cardstock, so that should measure about 11 3/4 inch, but 11 inches would probably do as well, because you're going to put a topper in the middle of it. And I've cut this one at 1.5 inches, but you don't have to do that. You can make it whatever size you want. So what I'm going to do is just simply wrap it round the back. Just sort of make sure that it still has room to move up and down, because remember, that's on dimensionals as well. So be sure that that will move up and down. And I've got, for that, I've taken that blue circle from the inside of the aperture, and again I'm going to go around with the ink and just disguise that white core. And then I have the little rocket that you see there, that's it there, that I'm going to put on the top of this, and I'll prop that up with a bit of foam tape as well. I can do this to the top of this belly band here. So we'll have glue on either side. This had a little time to set, so let's give it a try and make sure it fits, which it does. Okay, and I've also decided to spruce this white cardstock up a little bit. This has just been cut from the same, well, it's actually a leftover piece from when I cut the card base out. So I'm going to put these little bits also on the front. Final thing I want to do, and that's why I needed to be sure that this wasn't going to be moved around. I've got some stickles here, and this is the disco ball. I'm just going to go around my little moon here and give it a little sparkle. This will take some time to dry, so I don't want that belly band getting in the way right now and spoiling it. And I don't want my fingers getting in it either, so there we are. So I'll leave that to dry, and there is our card complete. So it will stand, as you can see there, but when the person opens it, it will also pop open, as you can see, to reveal our little astronauts floating through space, all the little planets. We've got the Earth there, we've got Saturn, we've got a little satellite, so you can look down inside of there and see all the little pieces. There we are. Thank you so much for joining me today for this tunnel card, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below to Sam Colcott's video. She's called Mixed Up Craft, and you can take a look at some of the ideas she had for this card. And she was my inspiration, as I said at the beginning, for making this card. So it's really not as difficult as it seems, but it does give a nice impression. And as you can see, because you're looking down into it, it has all that dimension. You can also, if you wanted to, make it so it stood this way, and you could have your tunnel upright. So if you wanted, like, for example, a 5x7 card, that would be a good choice to have that as well. So there we have our 6x6 tunnel card, which folds flat for posting and stand up for display, and also open this way for display. Give you a little closer look at our little creatures inside, and thank you again for coming. I hope you'll come again very soon, and in the meantime, please stay safe and crafty hugs. I hope you'll come back for another video very soon, and in the meantime, please subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up, comment below, and share with your friends. Stay safe and crafty hugs. Bye.